Self-love is BS. It's BS. See that all the time. Self-love, right? Loving yourself. What does that even mean? At first it made sense. It's like, I just gotta love myself, just like I love somebody else. But I feel like that's such a trap. I feel like loving yourself makes no sense. Because loving yourself implies there's two people. There's you, and there's yourself. You are loving yourself. It implies two separate things, you could say. We have to merge the two into one, because you are one spirit. Divine, you're a divine being. You know, you are the person, and you are the creator. Whatever you want to label it as, it's just one thing. So rather than loving yourself, I think I've resonated more with the idea of just being yourself. It implies you don't need to do as much. You just have to be. I never gravitate towards advice that implies more doing. Like loving yourself implies you have to do more. You have to do more of a practice of loving. More affirmations, meditation, whatever it may be. But when you're being yourself, you're just being yourself. And when you be yourself, I think that is the highest form of love. When you just are your divine self. You're not trying to, impress yourself. You're not trying to gain almost like validation from yourself. You're not trying to prove yourself. You're just being yourself. There's less pressure. And I think if more people heard this, I think that would give them more peace. So I've tried to quote unquote love myself, right? I've tried to be more kind to myself and more compassionate. I think those things are amazing, and you should work towards, gaining a better relationship with yourself. But at the end of the day, you're still just yourself. And the way you're gonna love your partner, it's just gonna be different than how you love yourself. And I know there is the idea of as within, so without. Everything's a reflection of you, so you can only love someone else to the degree you love yourself, which I agree, but I still think sometimes in order to truly understand what it means to express love, that requires another person to share that with. Maybe then you could, understand what those feelings are and try to experience that yourself. Not to say you need to have a relationship and need to love someone before you love yourself, but I think just exposing yourself to that idea of expressing who you are authentically and just sharing that emotion, those feelings, that highest form of vibration, that's something super powerful. And I think that allows you to love yourself more, allows you to be yourself more. And be yourself and love yourself. I do still think it's synonymous, right? Like when you be yourself, you love yourself. When you love yourself, you're being yourself. So I get that. But I just think sometimes it's about how you label it. Linguistics shape our reality, shapes our perception of things. Different cultures, different languages have different states of consciousness, and that's because of the way they use their words to describe things. That's why in modern society they've actually stripped away different words in our vocabulary, because they want to intentionally alter our consciousness and not be able to describe things in a certain way. And I think freedom comes when you're able to truly express properly with words what you're feeling, what you want to be able to express in the future, and what you're becoming. So if loving yourself works, you don't need to watch this video. You probably either clicked on this video to argue with me or to point out flawed points of mine, or you're actually intrigued and you're like me, who never really was able to resonate with the loving yourself mentality. I don't want to say it's a trap. It's just really hard to grasp. Maybe that's just me as a 23-year-old man loving yourself. It's like, I love myself, but I also just want to chill out and just be myself. And maybe the more I'm being myself, the more I get to love myself. You know what I mean? Or maybe it's not even about loving yourself, it's just about love itself. You know, this is why I said loving yourself seems a little bit strange, because it's like there's not two of you, and that implies almost like it's like the ego and the higher self, and that are two separate things, two separate entities, you could say. But I know that's not what the advice is, and that wouldn't make sense for what, the higher mind to love the ego, or the ego to love the higher mind. I mean, it's all part of the same, I don't know what you want to call it. Like, it's a part of you, right? The ego is part of you. You're never going to be able to not have an ego, and vice versa. Your higher mind, which I believe co-creates with your ego and kind of comes together in full alignment. This is what I talk about in the work I do one-on-one, is this idea of being in full alignment and creating from that space. And I think that implies to be yourself. So the more you're able to be yourself, the more you're able to just express love. I'm not even going to say to love yourself. Now I switched it up. I'm going to say just to be able to be in love. To be in love, period. We don't need to add the space of with yourself or with somebody else, just to be in love. Because love, if love truly is the highest frequency, you could say, why do you need to attach it to something else in the external world? Loving someone else, something, some place. Why can't you just experience it? Like enlightenment. You don't say, oh, I'm enlightened by this person. I mean, you can say that, but you just say, I'm experiencing enlightenment, or I'm experiencing peace, or I'm experiencing joy. You know, you don't need to always attach it to somebody else, something else, somewhere else, whatever it may be. So yeah, practice just being yourself more. And that practice, which maybe I'll talk about in a future video, requires you to strip away a lot of things. Requires you to stop consuming more information and going back to who you truly are. Going back to source, whatever you want to call it, whatever resonates with you. And only then you can experience the highest frequency, which is love. So if you resonate with this and you're curious to learn more about how to really experience this and how that relates to being in direct alignment with your soul, soul's purpose, soul's mission, I will link down below if you want to have a chat and see if we're a good fit together. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.